Do you feel like your legs have become heavier than before? As if fatigue starts from the bottom up, that climbing stairs requires disproportionate effort, or that by the end of the day you feel constant discomfort in your feet and calves that wasn't there a few years ago. Maybe you've started to experience nighttime cramps more often, unexplained numbness, or even notice that your veins are becoming more prominent and painful. These signs may seem isolated, minor, or just age-related changes, but in truth, they are part of something more serious. They are quiet signals that your blood is no longer circulating properly. These are the ignored symptoms of a dangerous process that, if not stopped in time, begins to affect the legs, the heart, and even the brain. And very often, the source of it all is on your plate. My name is Dr. Jonathan Blake. I've been observing patients for many years, and I can say with absolute certainty, the symptoms we most often ignore are the ones that turn into tragedies the fastest, tragedies that could have been avoided. Mild pain, random numbness, occasional swelling. The body never acts randomly. It warns. It insists. And when the legs start to send signals, it's because the blood is already struggling. What amazes me most is how many people come into my office convinced that what they're feeling is normal. They say it's just age-related fatigue, poor hereditary circulation, or typical after 60. But very few know that most cases of poor circulation, blood clots, chronic leg pain, and even amputations have a simple cause: diet. More specifically, a single ingredient that seems harmless, but is quietly killing your legs. If this topic matters to you, if you've ever experienced these symptoms, or know someone who suffers from pain, swelling, or weakness in the legs, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps spread this information to those who truly need it and can change the life of someone who still hasn't realized what's happening to their body. And before you imagine something rare or exotic, know this. We're talking about a product that's very likely in your fridge right now. A spread you may have used for years, thinking it was light, plant-based, or even healthy. But in reality, it can destroy the elasticity of your arteries, thicken your blood, and prevent oxygen from freely reaching your extremities. And when that happens, the legs are the first to cry for help. And the worst part, when blood stops flowing, it makes no noise. It stops in silence. That's why many people only realize something was wrong when the pain becomes unbearable, when the leg turns dark, when sensation is lost, or when an exam shows the risk of thrombosis or serious blockage. But the body didn't wait until that moment. It warned before. With mild pain, tingling, nighttime swelling, that burning feeling in your feet when you lie down. All of these are the body's language. All of these are vascular alarm signals. And what frightens me most is that while these signs appear, many people continue to feed the inflammatory process that is destroying their vessels, simply because they were misinformed. Because they believe they're making a better choice. Because no one ever told them that a single product, consumed day after day, could cause so much damage in the medium and long term. But there's one crucial truth. The silent degeneration of the legs is not destiny. It's a consequence. And any consequence can be stopped. What you're feeling today doesn't have to get worse. Pain when walking doesn't have to turn into limitation. Heaviness in your calves doesn't have to lead to dependence on medication. And it all starts with the right information, with the decision to eliminate what feeds the problem from the inside out. And that's exactly what we're going to lay out now, clearly, responsibly, and without unnecessary words. Because your legs deserve more than just carrying your body. They deserve real health, free-flowing circulation, strength, and vital energy. And that is only possible when blood flows. And blood only flows when your diet allows it. If you're still consuming margarine thinking you're making a healthy choice, this might be the first link in a chain reaction that slowly destroys circulation in your legs. What most people don't realize is that margarine is not just a plant-based fat. It's a synthetic substance, created in a lab from refined oils that go through a chemical process known as hydrogenation. During this process, trans fats are formed, compounds the body doesn't recognize, can't properly break down, and therefore turns into chronic inflammation. And this constant, silent inflammation begins to damage the blood vessels, especially in the legs, which are the farthest points and rely most heavily on proper blood flow. The blood begins to thicken. Arteries lose their elasticity. Their natural ability to dilate and contract gets blocked. And then the first signs appear: heaviness in the calves, swelling at the end of the day, nighttime cramps, burning or tingling sensations in the feet. As if the blood is trying to move but meets resistance every inch of the way. And unfortunately, margarine is not the only culprit. It may be the gateway, but it's far from the only poison. The truth is that modern diets are filled with foods that directly harm vascular health. Some of the most dangerous are processed meats, like sausages, frankfurters, ham, salami, and other deli meats. They contain massive amounts of sodium, which promotes fluid retention in the legs and raises blood pressure, and they're packed with preservatives and nitrites that irritate the endothelium, the inner lining of the blood vessels. The long-term result is hardening of the arteries, increased risk of clots, inflamed varicose veins, pain while walking, and the sensation that your blood is stuck. Another major contributor to poor circulation is refined vegetable oils, like soybean, corn, and sunflower oils, which are found in almost all processed foods. Even if you don't cook with them yourself, they're in cookies, snacks, ready-made cakes, frozen pies. These oils, when heated, form toxic compounds that cause oxidative stress in the walls of your blood vessels, alter platelet behavior, and make your blood more prone to clotting. And if you add fried foods to the mix, especially those made in restaurants using reused oil, or even at home with old fats, the damage increases exponentially. The oxidized fats created in that process go straight into your bloodstream, and instead of using them for energy, your body is forced to defend itself against them. It's during this defensive response that internal inflammation develops, small arteries get blocked, blood flow in capillaries decreases, and microcirculation, especially in the legs, becomes impaired. But that's not all. White flour also plays a role in this scenario. Once digested, it quickly turns into glucose, spiking blood sugar levels. These constant fluctuations strain the pancreas, trigger insulin surges, and initiate inflammatory responses that directly damage the inner lining of arteries. On top of that, excess glucose binds with proteins in the blood, forming what's known as glycotoxins, compounds that harm blood vessels and make blood thicker, slower, and more prone to clotting. And all of this hits the legs first. This is exactly the context in which symptoms start to appear. Symptoms that many people ignore: a vein that suddenly becomes swollen and painful, an ankle that swells without an obvious cause, a cramp that wakes you up in the middle of the night, a tingling that comes and goes. These are real signals. Signals that blood is not flowing as it should. Signals that the internal inflammation, caused by your everyday diet, is expanding its reach within your body. The most dangerous part of all this is that none of these foods cause immediate symptoms. This isn't like food poisoning, where you feel ill right away. The damage they cause builds up quietly, day after day. While you go about your life, your vascular system is being attacked, every single day. And when your legs start to scream, it means the damage has already been done. When blood loses its fluidity, the legs are the first to pay the price. Arteries narrow, veins become inflamed, and capillaries start to clog with oxidized fat deposits, excess glucose, and cellular fragments that don't belong there. It's within this hostile environment that microclots begin to form. Tiny, invisible, yet capable of causing pain, numbness, recurring cramps, and, over time, much more serious conditions like thrombosis or peripheral tissue necrosis. These clots don't appear out of nowhere. They're the body's response to blood that's no longer circulating as it should. Thick, inflamed blood, overloaded with margarine, processed meats, harmful vegetable oils, repeatedly fried foods, and refined white flour. Instead of nourishing the body, it harms it. Instead of delivering oxygen, it blocks it. And because the legs rely on the strength of the heart to receive blood, and on muscle contractions to send it back, any slowing of this cycle creates a stagnation zone that manifests through very specific symptoms: persistent heaviness, numbness, pain while walking, a cold or burning sensation in the feet, chronic swelling, stiffness upon waking, and in later stages, changes in skin color, bluish or grayish patches. At the same time, the muscles begin to suffer. Less oxygen means less energy. It takes more effort to perform even simple movements. The body tries to compensate, but fatigue sets in faster, performance declines, and the person starts to feel as though they're dragging their own weight. This gradual loss of leg strength is often not muscular in origin. It's vascular. There's no point in treating the muscle if blood isn't reaching it. And the more inflamed the circulatory system becomes, the harder it is to restore. Chronic inflammation doesn't just stiffen the vessels, it damages the endothelium, the inner lining that's supposed to ensure smooth blood flow. When this layer is damaged or becomes rough, the body tries to repair it. And in this repair attempt, plaques form, thickenings, blockages, all of it inside veins that were meant to be open, healthy, and elastic. Many people live with these changes for years without even realizing what's happening. It all starts with minor cramps that come and go. Then swelling begins. Shoes feel tighter. Socks leave deep marks. The feet lose sensitivity, as if they're constantly numb. And instead of seeking the real cause, people blame age, the weather, or tiredness. But this is not just fatigue. It's progressive degeneration, and it can, and must, be stopped. The most dangerous thing is to believe that this process is normal. That everyone's legs hurt as they get older. That there's nothing to be done. That's the biggest trap. Because in truth, there is something to be done. But the first step is acknowledging that what's on your plate directly affects what you feel in your legs. No symptom appears by chance. The body doesn't make mistakes. It simply reacts to how it's being treated. And if there is pain, stiffness, cramps, swelling, or numbness, something inside is pressing, blocking, or inflaming. To ignore these signals is to open the door to more serious complications. For pain to turn into limitation. For discomfort to become disability. For a silent clot to break loose and cause irreversible consequences. But none of this is inevitable. All it takes is one decision, to remove what's poisoning you and give your body what it's been begging for. The human body has an incredible ability to heal. Even after many years of suffering from poor circulation, hidden inflammation, and unbalanced eating habits, this process can be stopped, and real healing can begin. But that healing is only possible when the root cause of the problem is addressed. There's no use in seeking relief from symptoms if the blood remains thick, inflamed, and pressing against the walls of your veins. You must go straight to the source of the stagnation, and that begins with changing the daily food habits that shape your body. The first step is to permanently remove everything from your diet that poisons and blocks your circulation. Margarine, processed meats, refined vegetable oils, reused fried foods, and white flour products. None of these belong in a lifestyle that protects the health of your legs. These are substances that damage blood vessels, promote hardening of the arteries, and make it easier for clots to form. There is no such thing as a safe amount once your blood is already crying out for help. These products must disappear, not temporarily like in a diet, but permanently, as a life decision. In their place should come foods that protect, reduce inflammation, and restore. The first among them is omega-3, found in natural sources like chia seeds, flax seeds, and cold water fatty fish such as sardines. Omega-3 helps thin the blood, reduces its viscosity, and protects the endothelium, the inner lining of the vessels. Another powerful ally is lemon water on an empty stomach. Not because it's magical, but because it creates a more alkaline environment in the body, stimulates digestion, supports detoxification, and has a mild anticoagulant effect, especially helpful for those who already suffer from circulation problems. Raw garlic, turmeric, ginger, apple cider vinegar, and berries should also become regular parts of your routine. All of these foods reduce inflammation, improve your blood's lipid profile, fight oxidative stress, and support capillary health. Blood must be clean to reach the farthest corners of the body. When it's filled with harmful fats, sugars, chemical residues, and inflammatory agents, it doesn't just slow down, it damages the very pathways it's meant to travel through. Besides nutrition, movement is also critical. Not intense workouts or exhausting exercises, but regular walking, taking the stairs, and keeping your legs active. Movement activates the muscle pump of the calves, which acts like a second heart, helping the blood flow back up. The less your legs move, the more blood pools in them. And the more it stagnates, the higher the risk of clots, pain, stiffness, and venous insufficiency. Hydration must also be a priority. Thick, slow-moving blood is almost always a sign of chronic dehydration. Drinking enough water throughout the day is an act of care for your blood vessels. It helps keep the blood fluid, flush out metabolic waste, and reduce the burden on the kidneys, which also play a crucial role in maintaining this balance. And finally, it's important to understand, what you feel in your legs today is a direct reflection of what you've been building over the past years. The good news is that just as quietly as the body becomes sick, it can begin to heal, if it receives the right elements. A natural, anti-inflammatory, nutrient-dense diet rich in fiber, antioxidants, and healthy fats. Daily movement, even light. Consistent hydration. And most of all, the awareness that your legs don't complain for no reason. They are the first to signal what's happening in your blood flow. And when you take care of them, you're taking care of your entire body. If this message resonates with you, if you recognized yourself in the symptoms described, share this video with someone who also needs to hear it. Leave a comment. Do you feel leg pain, tingling, or swelling at the end of the day? It doesn't just help spread this message. It may inspire someone else to change their habits and avoid serious complications. Remember, your legs have carried you through your entire life. Now it's your turn to take care of them.